Hello, adventurers! My name is Chance. Welcome to my Spellbook, and thank you so much for tuning into the 42nd episode of our background series. Today we have a really cool one in store for us, for a couple reasons. Namely, it's from Acquisitions Incorporated being one, and it's also a pretty interesting level of, or provides a pretty interesting level of play, I should say. In any case, today we're going to be taking a look at the rival Intern, found in Acquisitions Incorporated, as I mentioned earlier. And if you haven't seen all the backgrounds and you'd like to, please check out the full playlist by either clicking on that little eye icon or clicking on one of the end cards at the end of the video there, and that should direct you to the playlist just fine. Now, without further ado, let's take a look at its description. Perhaps the rival did not treat you as well as you were hoping, or you washed out of that organization. Maybe you hope to leverage the knowledge you gained there for an advantage at Acquisitions Incorporated. Either way, you're now bringing your talents to the company, ready to put your skills to use. Essentially, you used to work for Acquisitions Incorporated rivals, or one of their rivals, and you left there to come to Ac Inc. And for whatever reasons, who knows, but that's what happened. Now let's take a quick look at your mechanics here. You gain a skill proficiencies in both history and investigation. Investigation is always great to be proficient in, and history, depending on the campaign, maybe as well. Now let's look at tool proficiencies. You gain one type of artisan's tools, and one language of your choice as well, which is pretty good. Under equipment, you gain the set of artisan's tools of which you are proficient, the ledger from your employer, a set of fine clothes, and a belt pouch containing 10 GP, which is right in line with the average, of course. Overall, pretty decent, nothing to really write home and brag about, however, it is really nice nonetheless. Now let's take a look at its feature. This one is called Inside Informant. You have connections to your previous employer or other groups you dealt with during your previous employment. You can communicate with your contacts, gaining information at the DM's discretion. Now this is really interesting because it implies you have access to a larger rumor mill, and it's also a great way to get questing and things of that nature. Ideally, you'll be using this to form your own enterprise and slowly build yourself up from there, gaining more fame and renown as you do. And that is the other level of play I was talking about. It is very rare for campaigns to get involved in entrepreneurial activities, and the Acquisitions Incorporated book is really good if you'd like to pursue that method of play, and this particular background, along with a handful of the other ones, would facilitate that quite nicely, as that's kind of what their campaign is based around. It would be worth noting that as you do more for these particular contacts, or as you communicate with them more often, they're likely to be of greater help and service to you, and things of that nature. So this will scale based off of your involvement, which is always nice. Now let's move on to some suggested characteristics here. For the personality trait, I went with, the job is everything to me. Who needs relaxation, hobbies, and a social life? Under ideals, I went with power. Money is fine, but real power means never having to say you're sorry, and this is a tick towards the evil direction. Under bond, although I don't get along well with people, my pet means the world to me. And flaw, there's right and there's wrong, and there's no gray area in between. Now this would be a rather interesting character to play. Essentially, you're incredibly driven, incredibly ambitious. Your desires go far beyond something as trivial as wealth. What goal are you leading towards? Who knows? But you have a pet and you love the ever-loving heck out of them. Might be something as mundane as a cat or something as exotic as a fire beetle, but whatever it is your pride and joy. Naturally, this will, of course, give the DM something to exploit, but you know what, if it's all in good fun, it should lead to some rather interesting adventures. Now let's move on to my personal thoughts. I really like the Rival Intern for the same reason I like a lot of the other Acquisitions Incorporated backgrounds and even their spells. They're just really different, which is really nice. A lot of the D&D 5e backgrounds are quite serious and as a result quite complicated and maybe even restrictive in their own way. But Acquisitions Incorporated, it's very light-hearted, very enjoyable, and it's clear that you're playing the game just to have fun and have a couple of laughs. However, if you are a min-maxer or if stats and mechanics are something that's very important to you, the Acquisitions Incorporated backgrounds as a whole don't really do a whole lot. This one has decent mechanics, for sure, but its feature and the lack of an extended spell list makes it really obvious that the Ravnican backgrounds would likely beat it out in every regard, as well as quite a few of the backgrounds from the PHB and the Sword Coast Adventures Guide. That being said, if you're looking for something lighthearted and fun, I see no reason why the Rival Intern wouldn't work fantastic for you. That being said, let me know what you think of the Rival Intern down beneath in the comments section. Be sure to mention any thoughts, questions, comments, or concerns you have regarding them. And of course, if you have any ideas or cool stories of your own, feel free to put them down beneath as well. Naturally, if you'd like to gain access to a free one-shot, you can do so using code WELCOME over at the Guildhall. And of course, I hope you all have a great day, and as always, happy adventuring, everyone.